Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're back with more Castlevania Season 3, Episode 2. It's been a very exciting season so far. First episode with a lot of world building, essentially. And it's interesting that, thinking about it after watching Episode 1 and the impact that Castlevania has now made in animation and the fantastic work that they've been doing since Season 1 to Season 2. And it's an interesting conversation in terms of where adaptations are concerned, video game adaptations, weirdly enough, because while it hasn't been successful over the past few years, pick one, any of them have been horrible, except perhaps Assassin's Creed, which wasn't bad in my opinion. I actually enjoyed the movie very much, but it didn't do well. I'm not sure why. It could be because they made something of a departure from what the original source material was, but I thought they did a very good job in kind of walking the line and finding a good balance, right? But Castlevania has done a fantastic job as well adapting a video game into, again, it's animation, so it's, some would consider it a bit easier to do, but I would say not, because they've actually made quite a few changes, especially to specific characters that have appeared in the games, and they're very different here. And The Witcher has done something similar as well, so kudos to Netflix for managing to actually accomplish what it has. But we're finally getting some decent video game adaptations. So Castlevania is doing great. I mean, the world that they're building at the start of this season in episode 1, expanding to not just the characters that we've been following, but we're following Carmilla now. We've met her 3 sisters. We met Germaine, and we've heard them speak about other armies, other vampire factions that are being formed, with Dracula having gone and left such a huge vacuum in the world itself, that someone will want to actually fill. Now, whether or not it will be Carmilla or not, I suspect not, because Isaac, I suspect Isaac is on the hunt for for revenge. We didn't see him end at all last episode, but I don't think it will be complete without Isaac in it. So we're definitely going to be seeing him, if not this episode, then the next. But the monks that we came across in the last episode were very reminiscent. They reminded me a whole lot of him in terms of the reverence that they have for Dracula, right? So I very much expect to see Isaac sometime soon, because his influence or Dracula's influence, it still remains in how he affects others. Not so much in a negative way, because I don't think any of these monks have ever met Dracula. But for some reason, I don't know, I think they mentioned that it may have been the church's betrayal, in that they killed Dracula's wife and unleashed his wrath. But it still doesn't explain completely why they've taken to him, or his mythology as much as they seem to have. But they do look rather insane, right? But I love that we're expanding the world. We're getting to meet new characters, and unfortunately, Alucard is by his lonesome, missing his 2 companions. But I think their paths will cross, because Alucard is gonna be dragged back into this whole mess. And someone did point out that, in that scene where we saw Alucard, there were 2 structures being rebuilt, right? One is Dracula's castle, but there was another, and someone mentioned that it may have been the Belmont's household, that he's actually rebuilding the Belmont house, and that's very interesting, because the castle teleported on top of what was left of the Belmont house. So I guess he moved it, and he's now rebuilding it, possibly for Trevor and Cypher to return to. That would be very interesting. But the possibilities are endless for this world. So episode 2. Let's check it out. Isaac? It looks like him. An army of... what the hell are those things? He's been busy.
I smell you, Forge Master.
Interesting. Not many people can smell an education.
It's not an education. It's a curse. If you have a god, then you probably also have a devil. And if God created everything,
He also
then
created.
he also made hell.
The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In my travels, I've heard tell that you possess a large Carpathian transmission mirror.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
so
That he
sad
used to
to say
teleport.
that was some years ago. Purchased from me by a lovely couple from Kolkata who did not
Or
go
is it
out
something
during
else?
the day. If you take my meaning.
Vampires.
Damn.
A distance mirror. It's clever, if somewhat prideful. It will read a thought arranged in your mind's eye.
Yeah. It's almost exactly like Dracula's mirror. Seems rather risky.
Isaac.
You don't know this guy.
Sir Mirror, see my wish.
Dracula's enemies kneeling. Hector.
There you are. Are
Oh,
you breathing, betrayer?
so he wants to kill Hector for betraying Dracula, but
Sir Mirror, where are we?
I mean, Hector is already pretty much dead. He's not going to be around for much
I do
longer.
not
Carmilla. That's who you want.
Camilla. So, this is Styria.
Pretty useful to have around.
Was... Take the mirror.
That's generous.
It's yours.
You would give me such a valuable thing as a gift?
The storekeeper is awfully
I have a
suspicious.
feeling you haven't received many gifts in your life. Also, I fully expect to go to hell one day, and that would be a situation where I would
good to have
be
a
glad
friend.
to be owed a favor by a forge master.
That's a good one.
We shall find.
We will have no truck with mystics or demons. You will get out of the city right now, or face the consequences.
Or become a part of his army.
I intend to. It was stupid to expect anything other than hate from you. I keep making the same mistake. I should know better. I don't
The
need
animation
any
for Isaac
bodies
looks
for forging.
fantastic this season.
You may
I gotta
be.
say. His design just looks a bit more refined. So just let him leave. I'm interested to know how his forging differs from Hector's, because Hector's creatures don't look this monstrous.
My friends and I need a ship to take us to Genoa.
Well, this is my ship right here.
Then perhaps we'll take this one. I believe I will kill you and all your men.
It's
And
Caribbean. I can't tell if it's Haitian or...
You surely could. But if you did all that murdering and taking,
Yeah, sounds
who
Haitian.
would be left to sail it?
sailing a boat cannot be hard.
It's harder than you might think.
Well, if it wasn't hard, then why would sailors exist?
Pay me, and I'll sell you.
I'm not offering you coins.
He's a rational man.
Yes, you are. You are offering coins for my ship and our skills. And your word that the beasties won't eat any of my crew.
My word.
You've just said you've been disappointed by men.
I like
You
you.
are a strange man.
I'm bored. Sailing with you, Sir Forge Master, will be many things. But I doubt it will be boring.
Right, you are.
Will you be coming aboard this night?
I like the sailor.
I am Isaac.
Excellent. Lads, we have guests. We sail for Genoa.
A lot of interesting characters this season. Jermaine, Captain. You want to know Captain's name, though.
I had the cartographer in. Come and look at this.
Is her new plan the same old plan, though?
This is us. We have never been able to project our power west, too many strong nations. But if we look east, we see an entire region fractured and devastated
they've
by
graced us with a
Dracula's
map, people.
actions. From here,
Poland.
I want you to think of it as Great Asteria, a corridor nation.
You've gone mad.
And very likely
Not selling for
decimated by the
just
battle at
Dracula's
Brela.
seed anymore. She wants more.
The humans are in complete...
Oh, wait. I think I see. It's a pen, isn't it? A pen for livestock?
That's right. We enclose this corridor with all the humans in it.
Morana's right. You're insane.
Hector can make night creatures. The otherwise useless little bastard can in fact create us a new army from the regiments of hell itself.
But they'll only obey Hector, though. So, I mean,
That
once he's
is how we
created
take
enough,
control
couldn't he
of the
just
corridor and
turn
trap
against them?
ourselves a flock of livestock.
We have a half-dead thing in the cell that will have no interest at all in helping you do anything.
He's quite pliable.
He was quite pliable once. And then you got him to betray his master, made him see all his goals destroyed, beat the shit out of him, and dragged him 800 miles on the end of a rope.
Yeah, gonna be tough to
I don't see
convince
him
him.
being happy to do you.
Also, night creatures are loyal to their forge masters.
Could just turn against
We
you
might
with his
just
army.
be giving him the opportunity to create his own
My
army.
thoughts exactly.
Let me handle it. Let me solve Hector.
Is this going
What's
to
she
be
gonna
like
do
the
it?
time
Charm
you
him?
found a spider with one broken leg, and you tore the castle apart looking for something small enough to make a splint out of?
No.
Do you even have any money?
Those smell so good. Can I take two?
Those are on me. Mr. Belmont. My, what a formidable beast you are.
Sir Jermaine.
Excuse me?
You're excused. Allow me to formally introduce myself. I am the Count Saint-Germain. Doubtless your family told you stories about me.
My family were a little too dead to tell me many stories.
Why are you here, Belmont?
What business is that of yours?
That remains to be seen.
I'm taking breakfast back to my partner. Thanks for paying. Nope.
They're watching you. It's creepy, creepy monks.
Salah.
You wish to enter the Priory for reasons that escape me.
I had been told that some of your books had been damaged when night creatures struck the Priory. Further, that some of the books were in languages unfamiliar to you. And that you...
And that much is true. Our one scribe was blessed with a quick death, and we didn't even have to bury all of him.
Okay.
Because...
Partially devoured. Terribly considerate chap. Really.
I have
You seem
scribal
torn
skills
up by
and
it.
speak a great many languages. I can also survey your artworks. And I have knowledge of Dracula.
We have what you might call a new understanding of our relationship to God. But new knowledge of Dracula and hell would be useful to us in our work. You may have limited access to the Priory, so that...
Well, that was unusual.
You're unusual.
Still, finally, forward motion. I may yet triumph. Of course I will triumph. How
I
could
don't
it be
know.
otherwise?
I mean, he's not a
I am
vampire. I
immortal
don't
and
think.
glorious, and all these other people smell of piss.
He said, "I'm immortal and glorious." So is he a vampire? Chosen the wrong target.
are the Alucard.
It's a strange way of showing it. You're just about to shoot him with an arrow.
Help.
With an arrow in my back.
He was going to cover me. We have come a long way. Please, I need to know if he's all right.
If I wanted him dead, I would have aimed higher. If he wants to continue living, he should stop right there. Please.
Adrian Tepesh. The Alucard.
Is it just Alucard?
Just Alucard.
That's it.
I didn't notice you yesterday. You're better than I thought. Who was your quarry?
Her name is Cho. We were slaves to her court in Japan. She left to become a general in Dracula's war. We were able to escape her court in that time.
We followed her here.
Alucard, will you teach us?
Teach you?
Teach you what?
We are alone in this world, and we do not have enough power or knowledge to free our people of the vampire. You know things, and you have a knowledge famously contained within Dracula's castle.
Science. I don't trust anybody in this world. But they seem honest, unlike Germain. Saint-Germain.
Do you know where you are?
Not really. That is Dracula's castle.
That's my castle. My father is dead.
Dracula
is dead? They didn't know?
Yes.
If news spread all the way to wherever Trevor is, I mean...
On the hand of the last of the Belmonts. I'm not going to start this if you're going to stop when it gets difficult.
We are committed. We will take all that you can give.
Well then, I think to pass on the secrets of the world.
That's what your mother wanted.
I think my mother would approve.
Yeah.
Now we are not alone. Come on then, we begin.
That was easy.
Okay.
All right, there we have it, episode 2, season 3. So I guess you guys are right. That was the Belmont household that I guess he's rebuilding it. How nice of him, though. Before I forget, though, I did want to mention that bit about I mean, Trevor and Cypher's relationship, right? I didn't talk much about it in last episode, but I mean, I've seen discussion with others around why they didn't necessarily show the relationship between Cypher and Trevor, and that it may have taken away from the series itself if they focus too much on the romance, and taking maybe several seasons to do it. But I don't think that was entirely necessary. The Dragon Prince, which I just finished, right, had something similar, and what I loved what the writers did, Aaron Ehas, the Avatar co-creator, I love that he did with the Dragon Prince is he didn't form the entire storyline. It didn't revolve around their relationship, the two of the main characters. They expressed their feelings to each other, and then, you know, a few episodes later they had their moment, and then we moved on from there. We didn't spend too much time weighing whether this was will this happen, will they, won't they. It didn't go that way, and I think we could have done something similar here. Some have said that, you know, there were hints of Trevor and Cypher having a close relationship back in season 2, but I don't think I saw anything like that. I saw two people who were, you know, they were good, they were friends, they joked around and stuff like that. But I mean, you could have said the same thing about Cypher and Alucard. They just joked around and made fun of each other. It didn't amount so much to anything romantic, right? So it would have been nice to not spend a lot of time on it, but at the very least show us that defining moment that, you know, where they decided that, okay, yeah, we're gonna be together. So that would have been nice. I'm not saying it needed to drag on for the entire season and be the focus of the story, because it's clearly not. Right? So anyhow, now that that's out of the way. So Alucard has two pupils who, you know, it seems ridiculously easy for them to convince him otherwise. I'm not sure. I mean, he's a vampire. I don't think he has any skills that allows him to tell you whether people are lying or anything like that. So it was rather easy for him to just say, okay, yes, I will teach you all my family secrets and all the Belmont secrets. Let's go. That seemed a bit too it happened a bit too quickly. But nonetheless, he's not alone anymore, which I'm happy for. I think our heroes, as much as they're doing a good job, with the war to come, they're gonna need a lot of allies, right? And if even though they're separate, if Alucard can, train these two to become hunters in their own right, not necessarily Belmonts, but hunters, they're already trained. What they're lacking is perhaps, the weapons to take on vampires, the knowledge to take on vampires, the science to take on vampires, which he can teach them. And as he said, that is what his mother wanted. And a war is definitely coming. We caught up with Isaac this episode, and I mentioned earlier that I don't know if so much the animation, and at the very start of this season I did mention that, okay, back in season 2 the animation wasn't great in the first few episodes, but for at the very least the last 2 episodes, you saw the animation drastically improve because they had that final battle with Dracula. Alright, and I suspect that they're doing something similar here for this season as well. The animation wasn't great last episode. It looks a lot better this episode though. And I think as we progress throughout the story, by the end, wherever the final battle, the final showdown will be, wherever Carmilla and Isaac and our heroes collide, I think you'll see the chunk of the budget showing there. I do wish, hopefully with more success as the seasons go on, because I think they have enough story to go beyond just season 3, that Netflix puts a bit more into it and getting the animation to be consistent throughout, right? And not just in the final battles of the season. So I think we'll improve there, and there was definitely an improvement in this episode, specifically with Isaac. I think for me personally, in last season, a lot of the moments where the animation was choppy was with Isaac in it, especially where he was with that one vampire with the loud mouth. I forget his name, but when Isaac killed him using that belt that he used to lash himself with, that scene was, I love the scene, but the animation was terrible in that scene. It was terrible. So I'm glad to see that they seem to have refined, Isaac here quite a bit. He looks a lot better than he did in season 2. If you even pause the frame in season 2, for a lot of those choppy scenes with Isaac in it, everything just seemed blurred. But here you can see a lot of detail in how his scenes are animated and how he has been designed here. So I absolutely love that, because he was definitely one of the standout characters of last season, and I can't wait for him to catch up. And he looked into the mirror and he got the answers he wanted. And first and foremost, the first person on his list is Hector. He wants to kill Hector for betraying Dracula, but Hector already seems to be down, and second on his list, I suppose, is going to be Carmilla, and Alucard and Trevor, probably somewhere down at the bottom, but he definitely wants to take out Hector for betraying Dracula, and he does deserve it. I've not developed any sympathy for Hector so far. Curious to know how they plan on converting him, and Carmilla getting him to actually assist her with her new plan, which is not really a new plan so much as it is a better old plan, because I think they had already thought of that plan in season 2, to use to save some humans, not kill all of them, but use some of them as just food, and keep them around in this pen to provide them with blood. So I'm not sure how well that plan is going to work out this time around. They're targeting an era where they've said humans they're in chaos right now. They're not organized, and they're being picked off by creatures of the night. So they're not going up against an organized force or anything like that. So it may be a lot easier for them to do, rather than world conquest, similar, or world demolition in the way in which Dracula wanted to. They're just carving out one piece for themselves where they can use as a pen to use humans as food. Not right for the humans, but a good plan. But Carmilla's sister, I think Lenore is her name. Yeah, Lenore. And she says she will convince Hector to do their bidding. I don't see him doing that, apart from feeling that he betrayed Dracula. I did mention that he hasn't killed himself yet, and I felt after 1 month with Carmilla, he would have done that rather than allow himself to be used. And I don't think he would have stayed alive just so much out of fear. So my hope is that he does have some plan to get back at Carmilla, but I'm not sure it will go as planned. If Lenore, I think what may happen, as weird as it may be, I mean, they don't seem to care much for anything, but stranger things have happened, you know. It could be that Lenore just manages to reach Hector and somehow she falls for him herself, right? Because I think that's her plan, to try to manipulate him in some way, to care for her, and thinking that what he's doing is what's best for her. And I'm not sure how well that would work out. I mean, he knows who Carmilla is, knows what she's done, he knows what she plans on doing. And I mean, as one of the other sisters pointed out, if he creates his own army, they are loyal to him. So he could easily just use the ghouls to overpower them. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about that. I don't think it will play out the way Carmilla thinks it will, or Lenore thinks it will. But I'm definitely intrigued enough to see how it plays out. I'm definitely interested. I'm intrigued. And of course, Sir Saint-Germain, it's not Sir Saint-Germain. I'm curious to know more about this character. He has his hand in every little thing here. Not quite sure what his motivations are just yet, but definitely interested in the Belmonts, the Priory as well. And he said something peculiar in the episode, that he's immortal, and or something like that. He doesn't appear to be a vampire, at least not from what I can tell on the face of it, unless he's hiding that somehow. But he said he's immortal. I don't know if maybe he meant that in some as a witty comment, and he's not really serious, but he does seem to know quite a lot. So there is some possibility that maybe he's not a vampire, but he's found some other way to keep himself alive all this time. So I gotta say, I'm loving the new characters that we're being introduced to this season. The captain that Isaac recruited to take him to the island. Very funny, very interesting character. All the characters that we've been meeting this season so far just makes you want to see more, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it so far. The writing is fantastic this season. So I can't wait for the next episode, guys. Be sure to post down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this episode as well. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one.